This is a very special issue of SEMAJ MINDSPA. We share ideas, we share insight, we share constructs, we share concepts. But today I want to share a celebration that I've been doing for, well, most of my adult life, and definitely in a practical form for at least the last 10 years. I celebrate the birth of James Marshall Hendrix, also known as Jimi Hendrix. I do believe that he's the greatest guitarist who ever lived. And I had the privilege of experiencing this man live on stage. Um, New Year's Eve 1969, Fillmore East in New York City, the mecca of rock music in New York City. I had in 1969 was the year I went to United States. I started high school, and the year I started college. And I would just check different radio stations on the band, just to hear different music. And when I first heard the music of Jimi Hendrix, I was held. The music spoke to me. And I have been celebrating this awesome genius. In We actually started a process in Jamaica where we started celebrating something called Jimmy's Jam. We had the privilege of having a facility in St. Anne, and we created a special space. And on the 69th anniversary of his birth, we had a special Jimmy's Jam. And we invited Jamaican artists who understood, believed, loved this kind of a music to share with us. And for a couple of years following that, we did just that. We continued the celebration in different forms where people interpret the music. Now, this is where we are today. Today, he would be 79. And, I love the concept when you see how this music emerged and how powerful. I want to share some of this with you. This notion here when Hendrix says, when the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace. And these lines from Voodoo Child, just the imagery he creates. I stand up next to a mountain and I chop it down with the edge of my hand. When I stand up next to a mountain and I chop it down with the edge of my hand, well, I pick up all the pieces and make an island. Might even raise a little sand because I'm a voodoo child. Voodoo child. Huh? Now, this awesome genius, when I use the expressions here that Jimi Hendrix is 79 today, his music lives on, his genius is unmatched. This poster that says, Jimmy not dead, God just asks for guitar lessons. I want to share with you, two experiences here. One, there's a narration of when Eric Clapton first met Jimi Hendrix in London. And it says, such was Clapton's prowess on the guitar. The fans proclaimed his divinity on the streets of London, but the guitar god seemed to be challenged by one of his disciples. Having been in London for just a week, Jimmy went along to a Cream gig and put in an audacious request to jam with Clapton. Nobody gets up to jam with Cream. Cream is Mount Olympus. Cream is the absolute pinnacle. Ordinary mortals cannot breathe in the rarefied air that exists in this hallowed space. I mean, it's a very brave person who would do that, as far as I remember. Hendrix plugged into my bass amp and played his version of Killing Floor, he blew us all away. Clapton has always loved the song, but he always thought it was too difficult. And Hendrix just raged through it, doing all his tricks and stunts, the kind of thing that people like Little Richard and Isley Brothers hated him for doing. Oh, by the way, he started out playing back, in the band of Isley Brothers, and they would fire him after every show because of his theatrics on stage. But by the next week's Thursday, they would hire him back for the weekend because he was that good. He plays the guitar behind his head, between his legs with his teeth, feedback tremolo arm, dive bombs, the whole works. He just played his ass off. Basically, you know what I mean? The first time I saw Eric, I thought, nah, he was a master guitar player. But Eric was a guitar player. Jimmy was some sort of force of nature. And then we go to this guy. So, when I'm flying with these teeth and doing things to the guitar on stage, it was like, whoa. I knew I had a tremendous effect on Erickson. Eric laid his hands on the guitar and it dropped. I just stood there looking at Jimmy and he walked off the stage. I knew this was going to happen. And everybody just going to, my God. And it's like word goes around. This guy got up to jam with Cream and he caught Clapton. Eric Clapton tried to light a cigarette and his hands just were there shaking. And Clapton asked, is he really that good? The next day, the papers declared, Hendrix killed God. Hendrix killed God. So those are the kind of words that welcome this awesome force of nature. There's a wonderful article that was in the Rolling Stone magazine by David Frick. And he started by saying, I feel sad for people who have to judge Jimi Hendrix on the base of recordings and film alone, because in the flesh, he was so extraordinary. He had a kind of alchemist ability. When he was on stage, he changed. He physically changed. He became incredibly graceful and beautiful. He did these things where he would play a chord and then he would sweep his left hand through the air in a curve, and it would almost take you away with the idea that there was a guitar player here and that the music was actually coming out of the end of his fingers. He made the electric guitar beautiful. It has always been dangerous. It has always been able to evoke anger. If you go right back to the beginning of it, what this man did with the guitar, the imagery, the sounds he created, so that I really, really, folks, want you to don't just take my word for it. I want you to, you go on YouTube if you're not already a Hendrix fan. You just look up Jimi Hendrix. I recommend Voodoo Child, Machine Gun. My two absolute favorites are, one, Are You Experienced? And If 6 Was 9. And today I'm wearing my Hendrix shirt in honor of this force of nature. James Marshall Hendrix, as I say. He is 79 today. His music lives on. His genius is still unmatched. And as the poster said, Jimmy's not dead. God just asked for guitar lessons. And who else could he call on but Jimmy? So today we celebrate. We celebrate this awesome force of nature. And I'm so glad I trusted my intuition, that I found my way to the Fillmore East to witness this force of nature live. You at least try to experience him today. Please do. From the spa, Jimi Hendrix, live.